Hi world, it's the 27th of August 2025. It's void moon all day, as I found out just about 5 minutes ago. It's been void for the last 12 hours. It's going to be void until about 2 a.m. UK time tomorrow morning. Great. But I've done loads of videos for the membership and for September for the world and lots of personal stuff for individual clients. And now I'm doing this one because astronomy is the study of the movements of the planets and stars in the skies. Astrology is the study of the effects of those movements. I used to hold people like astronomers, scientists, and priests in contempt, mainly because they were derisive, cynical, and contemptible towards astrology. They still are. But these days, perhaps it's a sign of my maturity as I age, or perhaps I'm just getting soft in my old age. I don't hold them in contempt anymore. I just feel sorry for them because of the narrowness of their vision. Believe something strong enough and anything outside that belief can't be true. That's the core, that's the root of fundamentalism. So when I see Texas congresswomen elect burning the Quran, as happened a day or two ago, I think, on the one hand, I really think I'm just appalled. On the other hand, I'm thinking, oh God, I feel so sorry for you. How would you feel if that was the Bible? How can you dismiss 1,500 years of accrued knowledge and wisdom just like that? Because it doesn't fit your narrative. That is such an ignorant thing to do. Anyway, I digress. I no longer hold priests in contempt. I actually met a priest last year, a Catholic priest at that, who was a genuine good soul, who solely wanted the best for his community and who dedicated his life to that. And I just couldn't find anything wrong with that at all. I'm in total awe and respect of a large number of scientists, particularly those who are advancing our knowledge of medicine and science and technology. Just wish they'd open up a bit more to the quasi-spiritual and the esoteric. Even astronomers, God bless their cotton socks. Most of them anyway, there's still one or two I hold in utmost contempt, no names. The ones who are still vocally derisive of astrology. Just, oh God, they're brain dead. No room for imagination at all. The reason I'm on about this is because it is the 27th of August. On the 25th of August, 24th of August, 25 years ago and 3 days, quarter of a century ago, the IAU, the International Astronomical Union, the meeting of all the top astronomers in the world, got together and in their sophistication, knowledge and wisdom decided that Pluto is no longer a planet. In the 25 years that has passed, I've gone from outrage to contempt to, oh, wait a minute, maybe they were right after all, to understanding why they arrived at their conclusion. Pluto doesn't fit the rest of the solar system. All the other planets go round the sun in an 8-degree band. Pluto goes round at 29, 30 degrees. So it's at an angle compared to the rest of the planets in the solar system. That in itself puts it out of kilter with the rest of the solar system. Also, the recent discovery of the Kuiper Belt and Kuiper Belt objects, trans-Neptunian objects, TNOs, such as Sedna, Eris, Makepeace, etc., etc. The IAU has considered that Pluto is just the nearest one of the TNOs, the trans-Neptunian objects. And I understand why they say that. Because Pluto's, unlike all the other planets have a near circular orbit, accurate to within 1 or 2%. Pluto doesn't. Pluto's orbit is ovoid. It has a 248-year orbit, but it takes 30 years to go through Taurus and Aries. It takes 11 years to go through Scorpio and Sagittarius. So its orbit is ovoid, and at the narrow end of the egg, it's very close to the sun, and at the fat end of the egg, it's a long way from the sun. It's a 3-2 ratio. It's a third closer to the sun. That is apogee as opposed to perigee. I might have that one the wrong way around. So I understand why the scientists and the astronomers say that Pluto is no longer a planet. And therefore it should be considered to be a trans-Neptunian object, as with Sedna and Makepeace, Eris, etc., etc. Okay, I understand why they say that. As an astrologer, I contradict their belief. And I can do so on 2 grounds. One is that unlike Makepeace, Sedna, Eris, Pluto is round. It is globular. It has a disc shape. It is not shaped like an elongated potato or a lump of rock with bits sticking out of it, as most trans-Neptunian objects are. It is round, and it has its own moon system, 5 moons at least, which orbit around it in very fascinating ratios. I wrote in my book on Pluto that the ratios of the planetary orbits around Pluto are enough to keep both numerologists and geometrists occupied for the next 30 years. The perfection of them is incredible. How that happens, I don't know. Well, I do, but I can't prove how it would work to a scientist. So yeah, Pluto's round, unlike all the other objects. That in itself, to me, means that it's still a planet, even if it is a trans-Neptunian planet and not truly a member of the active solar system. But then we come to statistics. Now, to quote someone whose name I don't know or have forgotten, there are lies, damn lies, and statistics. I've studied astrology 48 years. I've been doing readings for people 44 years. In that 44 years of readings, I've done at least 30,000 readings. Bearing in mind, I used to do 100 readings a week on the telephone lines 25 years ago. And even 2 or 3 years ago, I was doing 30, 35 readings a week in person. I've cut right back now because I'm getting older. I'm only doing a maximum of like 15 readings a week now. Everyone goes on the waiting list. But I have tens of thousands of statistics that prove to 100% certainty that Pluto as an astrological energy exerts such an incredible potential for transformation, regeneration and rebirth, often through crises and trauma, always through purging and detoxing, and sometimes through upgrade and phoenix energy. if you ask me from a scientific level to explain how Pluto works without delving into the quantum field, then I can't prove it in ways that are acceptable to scientists using scientific paradigms as they stand today. But I suggest this is because the scientific paradigms today are no longer fit for purpose. When I have tens of thousands of statistics and a couple of thousand of active comments from people saying how much Pluto has affected them, and if any of you need doubt this, just ask all your Capricorn friends what the last 15, 20 years has been like. Or ask those people at the very start of Aquarius or the very start of Leo what they're going through at the moment. The intensity and extremes of Plutonic behaviour from an astrological perspective is incomparable to any other planetary force. So yeah, astronomically, Pluto may no longer be a planet. Astrologically, it's one of the strongest there is. It deals with the underworld, the unconscious, the subconscious, the psychological. The areas that many people don't want to look at because they're scared of what might be down there. Of course, when they get down there, they think, shit, it's really dark down here. But there's no monsters, it's just dark. And then they bring light into the dark. And then they come back and bring dark into the light. And then once Pluto's had its way with them and they've allowed themselves to become plutonically self-empowered, they become psychologically invulnerable for the rest of their lives. But of course, astrology is just a fool's game, and any sensible scientist or astronomer is not going to get involved in that. To which I can only say, their loss. Pat them on their head, wish them well on their journey. And I'm just grateful that people like you and me are aware of the bigger picture. Astronomy's a great science. They've taught us so much. But to translate what it means, that's where the astrologers come in. On that note, I shall leave you, and I'll catch up with you again in the next day or three. Catch you later, world. Bye now.